So yesterday was kinda crazy. The US Federal Reserve made a shocking announcement opening the floodgates further to crypto. They are now studying a new payment account model, which is essentially a new type of master account, where all legally eligible institutions and fintech companies and crypto firms, they wouldn't be able to borrow money from the Fed, but they would have direct access to the Fed's payment rails without having to rely or go through a third party or a banking partnership, which is, make no mistake, a very big deal, extremely bullish news. And we can hear in this press conference with Fed Governor Christopher Waller, this decision is clear and direct acknowledgement and confirmation even that DLT and crypto is no longer a passing fad, but it's being woven deeper and deeper into the entire monetary system and the payment rails in the United States. Take a listen.
My objective in creating this conference is twofold. First, I wanted to have a conference that focused on the new technologies that have come from the DeFi and crypto worlds and how they are entering into the mainstream payments ecosystem. My goal is to have a vibrant discussion about payments between traditional payment incumbents and the new entrants from the DeFi world. Second, I wanted to send a message that this is a new era for the Federal Reserve in payments. The DeFi industry is not viewed with suspicion or scorn. Rather, today, you are welcome to the conversation on the future of payments in the United States and on our home field, something that would have been unimaginable a few years ago. My view for the Fed from now on is embrace the disruption, don't avoid it. As you know, we are well into a technology-driven revolution in payments, and I'm here to say that the Federal Reserve intends to be an active part of that revolution. A number of technological advances are transforming the payment system. Stablecoins and tokenized assets, making use of distributed ledger technology, the rapid adoption of artificial intelligence AI, and increasingly the convergence between these innovations and the traditional financial ecosystem. This includes the institutions and infrastructure that our economy has long depended on to operate a safe and efficient payment system. And yes, this also includes the Federal Reserve. The revolution in transforming payments is demanding change everywhere. And I will say more in a moment about some new ideas that the Federal Reserve is studying to support those innovations. I have spoken before of what I see as the two broad models of payments innovation in our market economy. The first is private sector-driven innovation. Most innovation comes from the private sector, which is motivated and best positioned to allocate resources and take risk with new technologies. The second model is when public sector entities, such as the Fed, build platforms and provide services that enable the private sector to more readily and rapidly expand new services to its customers. This should be done rarely and in limited circumstances where it addresses a specific market need. The posture of public institutions, including the Federal Reserve, should be to acknowledge and embrace private sector innovation that can improve the payment system while preserving its safety and stability, which are as essential to the new generation of innovators as they are to legacy institutions. Now let me pull back a moment and remind everyone how we got here. Since nearly its founding, the Federal Reserve System has worked to facilitate payment and settlement system efficiency alongside the private sector. From the beginning, the clearing services provided by the reserve banks obviated the need for daily movements of cash in armored cars with heavily armed guards. Long before we started speaking of the payment rails that are facilitating the kind of innovation we'll be discussing today, the Fed was running trains on steel rails to deliver and clear paper checks traveling across the country. FedWire began conducting interbank transfers through telegraph wires in the early 20th century. Fast forward today, where we have multiple infrastructures that settle interbank transfers in real time. Today's conference will focus on private sector-driven innovation. We have assembled 100 private sector innovators who are leveraging cutting-edge technology to create new possibilities in the payments landscape. Our panelists are engaging in integrating traditional financial payment rails with distributed ledgers, developing new products and services in the digital asset ecosystem, and leveraging AI in the payment system. It's worth noting that the firms engaged in these activities include banks, asset managers, retail payment firms, technology companies, as well as crypto-native fintechs. This is an acknowledgement that distributed ledgers and crypto assets are no longer on the fringes, but are increasingly woven into the fabric of the payment and financial system.
So yes, you just heard further confirmation, very big confirmation that crypto isn't going anywhere. And this also means, therefore, that the first mover companies and crypto projects will receive greater favor, greater adoption, and an advantage in this space now. As Enitre states here, this is an extremely big deal for companies like Caitlin Long's Custodia Bank and Kraken, who have been trying to get a Fed master account for years. But this is additionally bullish for companies like Ripple at Anchorage Digital who would be applying for a Fed Master account earlier this year. So this decision from the Fed will speed up this process, making Ripple and XRP a more trustworthy institution and crypto project and better recognized in the financial landscape. But in all honesty, should this come as a surprise to you? Think about it. It has been well documented time and time again that the Fed Reserve can integrate with Ripple. Regulatory bodies like the Federal Reserve will continue to set and enforce regulatory standards. Messaging systems and standards like SWIFT can be easily integrated into Ripple as well. So the Fed can already integrate with Ripple, but that's not all. Even Fed Reserve David Aldarfato confirms that Ripple's protocol can coexist with the US payment system, with the Federal Reserve. Take a listen.
David, fantastic presentation.
Thank you.
I'm one of the fellows who raised his hand when you asked who uses Ripple, Joe and myself. And I just want to say, it's I'm very happy to see that someone at the St. Louis Fed respects it at the very least. And I'm sure that from all the good things you said about it, many people in this room would like to hear more. But you mentioned that you foresee peer-to-peer currency-agnostic payment clearance systems such as Ripple coexisting with institutions such as central banks in the United States. And my question is, how are we going to see that happen? What is it going to take?
So thank you very much. And, all the nice things I said about Ripple, everybody knows to short it. Well, how do I see it? I mean, like you said, Ripple is a currency agnostic platform. It really doesn't care too much about creating and managing its money supply, although it does have its native money supply. So, it's doing, the way I exposited the idea, Ripple is handling the processing of payments for many of the world's unbanked people. Okay, and that the Fed is one institution that's providing a type of currency that people could use as payment using the Ripple protocol. But there may be other currencies. There could be Bitcoin, there could be the yen. So, I see room for coexistence. I see it today. I don't see any reason to doubt why it might not continue in the future.
Absolutely bombshell stuff. Huge news. But from where I'm sitting, it looks to me more so that this decision from the Fed was not one that they thought that they wanted to make, but also they had to make it. They had to make this announcement, otherwise they risk becoming obsolete to the innovative wave Ripple and XRP are leading with crypto's inevitable takeover. Crypto's takeover is coming closer and closer. So stay more logged in to find out more. Come check out the VIP group family, wop.com/coinfactory, alpha documentation, educational sources, trade alerts, and much more. Check it all out for a 7-day free trial as well. Links down below in the description. And remember, as always, don't look short term, think long term. And I'll see you in the next one.